Welcome back to r/NPD and the series where we review and offer professional and anonymous help to those from the Narcissistic Support Group subreddit. My name is Sophia Vandermeer. I'm a cognitive behavioural specialist, NLP practitioner and published author. So without further ado, let's jump into it. User, Cocky Times 420 posts, I do believe I am. Try to be conscious of it because during stressful interactions I get worse. I don't know what tips would help me from what I've already tried. During arguments, I tend to belittle or diminish the points people bring up by calling it simple-minded, weak, or when I try to be conscious of my aggression, if they focus on selfish acts or simple-minded ideas, I call them out for what I believe they are. I don't know what I'm even posting or expecting us to give an example. I'd have to go heavily into detail. Now, how it appears, the fact that you are not clear even in what you're posting speaks to a reactive response that you feel injured or annoyed. Bearing in mind that anger is a secondary emotion, so you are more than likely frustrated or hurt, or it's triggered something from your past. Whatever the cause, that is less important than how you move forward. Your reactions create a chain effect and emotions in others. Now, there can be a secondary gain for you. You may feel like it gives you control or that the distress it creates is some sort of a gain, but it's going to be short-lived and of little benefit. So this then becomes an act of mindfulness. Be mindful of what you're really wanting and if it is really going to serve the other person. Pointing out another's deficiencies rarely corrects them. A better strategy would be to respond and not react. This means you need to take a moment to pause and then use your words in a productive, communicative manner. It's not always easy, especially if you're used to just reacting. However, as with any behaviour, it can be learned and it really does come down to choice. You may not feel empathic. They may appear as fools, or you may be frustrated with something else. But by taking the time to respond, you become the bigger person. And this will feel better and it'll give you the higher hand in the long run. If you can try and develop empathy even at a cognitive level, you can then validate the other person's point of view and bring in yours. Possibly change will happen. However, we really can only change our own behaviour consciously, although once you change, things can't help but change around you. Our second post comes from iSigmund181, who says, alone. Always just feeling so alone and empty. How do people deal with this? A mistake I often see made by narcissists is the mentality the grass is always greener on the other side. That is a conceptualized normality. It is a life far greater than that which they currently lead. And while it is true that those without the disorder see things differently, it is worth noting that it is just differently. The common man recognizes concessions such as love or understanding despite their inherent impossibility. While you come down to care for another, you would only care for their well-being above your own on the basis that the two are inextricably linked. By placing such great value upon the other person, you have the potential to lose what is yourself. It would be better to attend to your own internal dialogue. Is it real? Does it apply all the time? Is there alternative proof? If you feel so alone all the time that you may have never not been alone and that no one has never been there, then what are you doing? Is it time to give more to someone else? Helping others requires selflessness. Even if you don't like it, it's the law of the universe that what you give out returns. Maybe not from the same source, but it will return. As your language is your language to others supportive or destructive? Are those that you have been in association with previously an accurate example of what you actually want in your life? In that case, being without them could possibly be better. The photos you see in the lives on public display are just that, a display. We only see what they want us to see. What then are you measuring, I would have to ask you, lonely by? A better question would be, what new things will you do this week? What can you express gratitude for? What can you do to help others? And what new thing can you try and learn from? Once you fill up your mind, so too will your emotions change.